I remember back in the day when I was doing like farming, like polymer bundles. Jesus, I hated that so much.
Yeah, even nowadays, I think I'm lower on Palmer bundles than I am some things. I just the planets
Yeah, this
that they're
I think
on,
have,
I just don't go to.
I think they have like on like 35,000 or something, and then you sometimes get recipes which require just like 20,000 or something.
Yeah,
Oh my god, it's somewhat distracting seeing the Warframe just plunge that thing in while hacking.
I know, right? It's a little bit interesting, isn't
It always like whenever I start hacking now I'm like, oh wait, wrong.
it? Okay, does using this flamethrower kind of seems like it increases my heat index? I'm not entirely sure.
I guess I'm just gonna chill here in the middle on the railing because hopefully a lot of enemies kind of congregate here.
Oh, look, I did get in a broken cell somewhere where. Oh, well, it's blasted.
I was told by my bitter supervisor that I sound American.
You sound American?
Mm-hmm. Oh, at least that's what he said.
That's pretty good. I mean, for me, I wouldn't say you sound too American, but I wouldn't say you sound too European either. So it's probably a decent balance.
The mystery accent. Oh, he's not talking.
I'm not that great at accents, so I don't know. Unless it's a really heavy accent, I have a hard time telling.
And I feel like nowadays, I mean, like you still hear people that have a very thick accent, and they may have the like third generation American or something.
Right,
You know what
well,
I
the
mean?
heavy southern accent. I've never understood how they can watch the same television that we do, and that I literally
And
can't even
understand.
understand them, and they're speaking English, and it's like, what are you people?
Yeah, I
No
get
offense
that.
to people from the south, but
Yeah, it sometimes almost sounds like a different language.
yeah, and I don't understand why it's like that.
Oh well. But I have been getting it a lot. When I went to the doctor here, um,
Okay, that
she was
worked.
like, "Are you from the U.S.?" And I feel like that's just like a default assumption because I speak English.
I see.
And they're like, "Well, he's either from the UK, but it doesn't have an English accent." So
By the way, do you know anything about the new Ember?
I saw the post on Twitter, and I very briefly scrolled through it at like 6 in the morning, I think. So that's about my extent of knowledge.
I see. I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing right now. As you can see, there's
Um,
sort of these meteors coming from the sky, hitting these enemies.
well, okay, that's badass. I don't know. I have no
That's
idea
her
what you're doing.
ultimate.
I
Essentially,
know you can like. Yeah. Sorry.
oh damn it.
Oh,
Um,
hello.
so with her 2 up, it basically is a damage reduction shield.
Okay.
And the hotter I get, the more damage reduction it is up until a certain point. When it hits a certain point, I think it spikes in damage reduction. I don't really remember. But then it starts being a channel. And
Oh, I see.
to be honest, I do not like it being a channel. Because once it hits being a channel, then I'm out of energy pretty much.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean,
the ultimate only activates for those within range. So it only takes as much energy as
that's the amount of people in
the
range.
amount of people that will get hit by it.
Okay.
So I can
That's pretty
essentially
cool.
spam it. It's a little
And
bit
what does it
weird
do?
because, to be honest, it's like her world on fire, but I have to manually hit things.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So do you like it more than Ember beforehand? Because Ember
I've
beforehand was
barely
kind of
tried
bad.
it, to be honest. Right now, no, not really. In a defense, maybe. In a survival, not so much.
Yeah. So how long do you stay before cells start dropping, you think?
Well, first check your thing and see how many you have right now.
I have 2. Okay, that's not bad.
How many do I have?
I am
I also
completely out
have
of
2.
energy as well, so... I don't know how that happened.
What are you playing as? Oh.
Necros. And I have my 3 up all the time.
Do you have his augment for where it takes your health instead of...
I do not know.
Okay, that might be something smart to get at some
I
point.
should maybe get that, yeah. That sounds pretty good. So it takes his health instead of
Energy.
energy?
Yeah. But
So
since his
desecrate.
passive, yeah, for desecrate. So since his passive is more health orbs spawn,
That's true. You
he
get a ton of
essentially
health orbs.
assists himself with that.
Yeah, that does make sense. Okay, I got my energy back. Like sometimes the enemies just drop a lot of energy and it's fine, but sometimes they just won't.
Yeah. Well, if you ever play with a Hildren, I believe she has a higher chance to spawn
Energy orbs. Oh, that's nice.
as well as I think Oberon does. I can't remember. Sometimes my ultimate doesn't seem to trigger. My range is decent, but for some reason it doesn't seem to trigger. Totally forgot that I had energy conversion on. Probably don't need energy conversion.
It reminds me of this one subreddit, which I actually enjoy these days. It's called, oh my god, like software gore.
What?
I don't know if you know it. And so it's basically just this subreddit about like funny bugs that people found in their computers or electronic devices.
Okay.
And some of them are absolutely amazing. Like one of them, for example, it's like a message, like an error message from a printer, and it says, error, printing is not supported on this printer. Like, okay, well, what does it do that?
That's great.
Or another one, it's a Windows error message, but all it says is your PC ran.
Your PC man. Well,
It's like,
bye.
where did they go? Where did they run?
That's pretty funny. To be honest, I think I have a Reddit account. I think, but do I use it? No.
Yeah.
Come on, why
I
do all
used
these
to-
units get hit? Oh, I totally forgot. Apparently, it's directional. So the ultimate only does it in the like 180 degrees that I face.
Oh, okay.
I totally forgot about this until just now.
Interesting.
That's why it was seeming to be wonky.
Just have to do like a helicopter every time if activating it. So, by the way, did you check out the new Call of Duty?
No, because okay, so 2 things to know about me. 1, I don't play first-person shooters generally, unless it's an arcade
isn't
type
Destiny a
one like
first-person
this.
shooter?
Well, it's arcadey though.
Okay.
Call of Duty, all those first-person shooters that are designed around PvP, all those ones I can't do. Where was I going with that? And horror, yes, and horror. Those 2 things.
I see. I mean, if funny enough, back in the day, like in Call of Duty 2 days, so like 2006, 7, when I really started getting into games, I used to play Call of Duties just for the single player. Like, I would never touch the multiplayer.
Oh yeah. I know they exist. It's just that I don't know. Up until now, I've kind of wanted to play with friends more. I don't mind single player. It's just I feel like I want to play with friends more often
I understand
than
that.
not. But I don't necessarily always have friends who are willing to spend the extra $20 to $60 to play something in the same games. I did like no damage to this unit.
I heard Guild Wars get like a pretty decent update recently.
Did it?
Right? I think I read that. I don't know. Did you? I thought you said you played that.
I
Right?
do once in a while. I have it up to date, but whether or not I actually like there's some things I like and dislike about that game.
Okay.
The dislikes being just how complicated the what's it called? Just the skills. Like, in order to heal, you have to essentially do a combo fields of one type
Combo.
and another type. Your base skill that does a heal is very pitiful, and I don't know. I don't like ground fields being the only way that I can do certain things.
Hmm. Okay, I get that. I still only have 2 Rogan cells, by the way.
Sitting here just jumping over and over again.
You're having a great time.
What does it look like from your perspective? Boing,
It just looks like you're twerking.
boing.
Yeah. I would just love to do like a meme edit of, you know, like the epic narrative from the Warframe trailer. Frames designed for war. And then you can just show like a video of an Ember just doing that. Or like, you know, 4 Warframes just doing that thing where you just crouch repeatedly.
Right. It doesn't even look that good when she does it per se. Like comparatively to Excalibur's radial javelin, that actually looks.
Oh yeah, that one looks very epic. You like take the knee. Honestly, but though, I mean, talking about Guild, I just really want like a good Lord of the Rings MMO.
Supposedly there was supposed to be a new one coming out along with the show that Amazon I think is doing.
Oh yeah, I heard of the show. I didn't hear about the game.
I think it's a game based off of what they're doing for the show. I don't know squat about it. I played the old Lord of the Rings online game.
Yeah, I played that way back in the day, and
How high a level did you ever get?
I'm not high at all. That was like, as in like so much back in the day that I didn't actually speak very good English back then, so I didn't really understand much of what was happening.
I see.
Does
I
that
still
game
have
came
an
out?
account there, so I don't mind to go back and do things. I'm only like level 40 to 50 though. Considering I can get to like level 80, and I just haven't. Because I just haven't been in the mood, like, with all these new games these days that are not tab select games. Like, tab select, the old style tab select games are just, they're hard to play now that we've played newer modern games that have more of a skill base to them, actually dodging skills,
Oh yeah, for sure.
actually.
It like requires a lot more engagement from you.
Yeah. Now, of course, they've also simplified games too, like Guild Wars, where
Oh yeah.
Guild Wars, you have your single skill bar. You can switch weapons though, and it's just like Elder Scrolls Online in that sense. They have a less amount of skills and more action, less skills, which
I
is
see.
fine. In Guild Wars, they have another set of skills, your support skills, I guess you could call them.
Okay.
So your heal and a couple of your class-based skills are on the sides like that. There's a couple more on there than there is in Elder Scrolls Online. But to be honest, I actually prefer Elder Scrolls Online simply because it's a resource management type game instead of cooldown based,
Okay.
which is kind of different compared to most of the other ones I've played, I guess. Just being able to spam if you want to. So the fact that you can spam basically means if you're fighting a small amount of stuff,
Yeah.
then you can just spam it till you run out of power or mana or whatever,
Yeah.
and then they'll die quickly. In long fights, obviously, you'll have to manage your resources a wee bit better, but
Yeah.
that game I kind of
I
would
get
like
that.
to get back to at some point.
It That really reminds me though, like when you talk about simplifying games, I feel like that's been such a trend with just gaming in general, like kind
Oh
of
yeah.
the accessibility, you know. I mean, I get it because obviously you want your games to be super, and sometimes it gets super frustrating. Like even right now, the company where I'm interning, you know, we have a publisher, so basically for us, it's like at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter what's the best game that we could make, because what really matters is what the publisher wants the game to be.
Yeah.
And so maybe, you know, we make something and the design is like, okay, amazing. Uh, if, you know, if we take, let's say, the average gamer as the audience, but then your publisher is like, no, 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 no. The audience are like these kinds of people that do this. And so then you start testing with those kinds of people. And you end up like dumbing the whole game down so much that it's actually just quite boring for anyone who's like used to playing games.
Oh
And that's just
yeah.
because you really
It's
want
all
it to
very
be.
depends on who they are trying to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Either new players, casual players,
Yeah.
hardcore players, like people who like Dark Souls, or just a complete different class of players
Oh
than
yeah, for sure.
the people who generally, I think, generally play Call of Duty. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is like with games that, but like all the games that are not Dark Souls, nowadays, just because of like how much money they're making, you try to just make them for as wide of an audience as physically possible.
right, and that's not always the best idea.
It's really not. Like it often actually leads to the game being worse off in some regard, just because you have to make it like, you know, if someone is literally like brain dead, they still have to be able to kind of get through the game.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not like back in the day, you know. And it sounds, I feel like that sounds super hipsterish to say, like, oh, back in the day we actually had to think about games.
Well, in a way,
And
yeah.
I don't
It's
feel.
the same goes though for not just games, but music and movies too. The the companies are becoming bigger and bigger that put these things out, so they're all designed more for general audience to get more money.
Yeah, like you would not believe how much money goes into stuff. I was talking to the CEO of the company where I interned today, and I was just asking some like general production stuff because I want to be a producer and stuff. And we were talking about finances a little bit. And so this is a relatively small studio. I mean, think like 60, 70 people, right?
Okay.
And I asked how much it costs to run the studio, like on average. And he says to run the studio, so like every single day, even on holidays and weekends, it costs about $5,000 a day to run the studio.
Wow.
And so, like, you imagine that, like, the average period, you know, how long it takes to develop a game. Like, how much money goes into this stuff.
Yeah. And then when you look at all the money, then you wonder how free-to-plays even work.
It's it's so difficult. Because, like, I mean, you make a free-to-play, you know, the thing about games is usually, you really, like, by the time the game comes out, you often, you're often quite reliant on it earning at least some money. Because it's just how game development works. You know, you pour a lot of resources into that game, and then you're hoping to get that that investment back plus something extra.
Yeah.
For free to play, you don't get that money immediately. It's not like you have like immediate sales.
Right.
It's more like you hope to establish some kind of a player base that then gradually, you know,
Pays money
from
for
the
loyalty.
microtransactions and purchases, pays your checks.
Yeah.
Like
Loyalty and cosmetics.
yeah.
Especially for Warframe. But see, even Bethesda, like everyone knows Bethesda. They've been known, they were a huge company everyone loved. But that's because, to be honest, most of the game, if you actually looked at the game itself, it really wasn't that. I mean, it was good, but you wouldn't say it was amazing per se. Half of the amazing of the game was the fact that everybody could mod it themselves.
True.
But then when they come out with games that aren't moddable, in an attempt to try to do a different market, whatever, like
Yeah, it
Fallout
just really didn't work out
76.
for them.
Yeah, their current management wasn't set up to handle that kind of thought process.
No.
I mean, the thing is though, is they they're owned by ZeniMax, right? It's
Yeah,
we should
so
probably
the
head out
parent
by the way.
company. They still haven't responded to my internship application.
Oh, well, maybe you
I
don't want to
will.
work there. Let's head out, by the way.
Yeah, okay, sure. Um, yeah, and you're totally right. I mean,
But my main thing
it's
is like the Elder Scrolls Online itself is not too bad.
no, not
It's not the
now.
best game in the
Nowadays, it's
world.
really good. It's just when it came out,
Oh yeah,
it
when it
was.
came out, it was pretty bad. So that's why I think when they first had the idea of coming out with Fallout 76, I was like, well, they've had time to work on Elder Scrolls Online, and they've got they've got access to the same people to do that, right?
Yeah, you would think that it would be pretty easy peasy.
You'd think, you'd think, and you'd be wrong.
You would, yeah.